Luke 24:39, the scene is the apostles were gathered together in that little room, and Jesus came in. Well, actually, Jesus appeared. And so they all got scared, thinking, hey, it's a ghost, it's a ghost, it's a ghost. And Jesus said, chill, y'all, just relax. He said, a ghost, a spirit, don't have flesh and bones. He said, touch me. Squeeze the Charmin, squeeze my hands, shake my hands, touch me, because a spirit does not have flesh and bone. So our spirit is the non-flesh and bone part of us. And when you think about it, it's not a big deal to think, to imagine, to picture that there is a non-flesh and bone part to us. Because we know some very important part of us, our thoughts, our emotions, we have them. We know that we have them, right? Because they get us into trouble a lot of times, right? We know we have those. We get into trouble when we try to feed those non-flesh and bone parts of us, such as our thoughts. They occur and they affect us physically, although we can't, physically touch them, our emotions and our thoughts. Our love, our hate, we manifest them physically, but we can't really see them. They're just inside of us, and sometimes they captivate us so strongly we have to do something. So there's no question that we have a non-physical part to us. That's the part of us that, when our physical body dies, that part of us, that spirit, that non-flesh and bone part of us goes on to, if we have served the Lord, if we have followed Jesus Christ, we go on to be what the Bible referred to as paradise, with all the righteous people that have gone on before. We go and hang out with them. And then if you haven't followed Jesus Christ, you go to hell. You go to that holding cell called hell and wait for the judgment day, and then you'll be sentenced to the final resolution to the sin conflict, that lake of fire where you will reside forever. Yes, there's a spiritual part of us that cannot be physically destroyed, and apparently it cannot be spiritually destroyed either. This is why God has to have a place, for it. Amen. We do so much to accommodate the flesh and bones part of us, and the vast majority of people do nothing about the spirit part of us. I mean, in a way, I understand. You can't see it. You can't. I mean, you can hide it. You can ignore it. You can do all this other stuff about it. So yeah, we don't value it. We don't see it as important. But Luke 24:39 remind us that part of us is real. You see, Jesus didn't look at the disciples and said, hey guys, man, y'all just leave that nonsense alone. There's no such thing. He said, no, I'm not a spirit, because a spirit don't have physical flesh and bone. And I got onto this because the passage came to mind, and I was trying to imagine what a spirit looked like. I mean, because how we have physical people, they're short, tall, fat, whatever they are, and I'm wondering if a spirit is the same way. I kind of doubt it though, because a spirit is not physical, so shouldn't be subject to physical limitations. But does that mean that, after we die, we all are the same height, the same size, and all of that? I wonder. And just to understand that, just another example of something helping to understand that our spirit is real. In I think it's in Luke, the story of Lazarus and the rich man, and how the rich man died, and when he died, it tells us that he was in pretty much in hell, in torment, and he was having this conversation with Abraham, and he asked Abraham to send Lazarus back to go and speak to his brother. So that tells me that your memory your memory goes with you. Our memory is a part of our spirit. And the only thing we leave behind is our physical body, but everything else goes with us. So our memory and our love and hate and all this stuff is a part of our spirit. Yeah, it also tells us that, when we die, our memory stopped right there, because the man was requesting that Abraham send Lazarus back to tell his brothers, because he said, hey man, I left 5 brothers back there, and they're equally as mean and bad and sinful, as I was. In that little episode, we see that your memory stops with you, because at this point in time, as he's talking to Abraham, he doesn't know exactly what's going on with his brothers. They might have turned around and changed their ways and repented and all of that. See, at this point, he didn't know. So again, our spirit is that part of us that is not flesh and bone. It's not physical, but it is real. Amen? Take care of your spirit today. Let Jesus lead you all the way to the kingdom. Because after all is said and done, we all have that appointment when we got to come out of these flesh and bone bodies, and our spirit going to stand before God at the judgment. Bless up.